play guitar. What better place to start than some guy who's been playing it for over 2 decades and is still mediocre at best. Guitar is an excellent instrument to learn. It can be a lot of fun. It can also be very intimidating and frustrating just based on purely how many possibilities there are. I'm here to tell you that you do not need to know anything to get started playing guitar. You do not need to know music theory. You don't need to know scales. You don't need to know chords. You don't need to know notes. You don't need to know components except for maybe like strings, tuners, and you can start playing at any age and you can have a lot of fun. Now today we're going to discover the who, what, where, when, why, and how of learning how to play guitar. But I'm going to move those around just a little bit. Now today we're going to discover the who, why, where, how, when, and what of learning how to play guitar. First step is the who, not the band. This is the person learning the instrument. That person is you. This also ties into the why, which is why are we learning the instrument? It could be for other people. It could be for yourself. If you want to learn how to make your own songs, if you want to learn how to play some of your favorite songs, if you want to play in a band, playing originals or playing cover songs. There's a lot of different reasons why somebody would want to get started, and it's always going to evolve. However, it's important to understand what is causing you to want to learn how to play. It gives you a starting point and it gives you a place to kind of build on. Now, next is the where. Anywhere. Next is the how, and this is going to take a little while to explain. So I'm going to try and do it briefly, but bear with me. How do you learn all this stuff? Because there's so much to learn with guitar. The trick is you need to learn enough to get you interested in learning the rest. If you try to learn something that's overly complex, you're going to possibly crash and burn on it, and it's going to be frustrating, and then you're going to want to just swear off guitar forever. Now, there's a few different ways to learn music on a guitar. There's sheet music, there's tablature, there's chord charts. You can learn by ear, but typically you have to, at some point, know where to put your fingers. Sheet music is incredibly difficult to learn, especially on guitar, and I'll talk about why in a minute. When I was in middle school, I played cello, and I learned how to sight read cello sheet music. I also learned how to read viola, violin, and upright bass. When it comes to those instruments, it's very straightforward. There's not a lot of different ways to play notes. Sheet music in those instances maybe makes sense. Or if you're playing piano, piano is called grand staff, so you've got them kind of stacked on each other. When it comes to a guitar like this, it doesn't make sense. And the reason being is there's so many different ways to play the same note. For example, if I want to play this E, it sounds like this E, it sounds like this E, this one's a little bit higher, this one's a little bit lower, this one is like that high one again, this one is like that high one as well. And there's so many different ways to play the same notes, and sheet music doesn't tell you which finger position to play. Now, where this gets really confusing is if you have a passage that you're playing, kind of like, you can play that anywhere. You can play that lower. You can play that higher, maybe. There's a lot of different places you can play that. Again, sheet music doesn't tell you this. That is where tablature comes into play. Now, when I was starting out, I had a sheet music guitar book with tablature written underneath, and I learned all the songs off of tablature. I would go online and I would find tabs, and I would just play tabs, and that's how I learned all of my music. Tabs are super handy, and what tabs do that sheet music doesn't is it will tell you to play 2-5 on the D string, 2-4 on the G string, 3 on the B string. It tells you where to place your fingers to make it as convenient as possible. What a concept. Let's make the barrier to entry as low as possible so that people actually enjoy playing and learning guitar. It makes me so excited. Now, where chord charts come into play is when you have chords that aren't arpeggiated or aren't played note for note. If you're just strumming chords, it's a lot easier to write like G on a line versus tabbing out a G chord and reading it and recognizing it as a G chord. You'll read it and you'll see the notes and you'll place your fingers and you'll strum it and you'll be like, wait a minute, that's just a G chord. Why did they do that? What you'll see a lot of times is they'll have all the riffs and all the runs and all the solos and everything tabbed out, but anywhere where there's actual like regular cowboy chords or anything like that, they'll just have chord names. It'll just say what chord it is and it'll have it over the words so that you know where the chord changes are in the song. It makes it easy enough to play along to, and then when you get to a solo part, you can read the solo and you don't have to try and like decipher some crazy tabbed out stuff. You also don't have to read sheet music, which sheet music on a guitar, no bueno. Now next I'm going to pair these two, the when and the what. I think they go together kind of like the who and the why. The when is now, but you're not going to pick up a guitar today and become Yngwie Malmsteen in 2 days. You are going to have to go through the learning process. You might just start with reading off some chord charts and trying to place your fingers in the right spot, and kind of you'll eyeball it and you'll place each finger and you'll build up the muscle memory and you'll kind of learn how to place your fingers so that down the line you can do it automatically. Now, I do recommend that you learn songs that you like that are achievable, maybe a little bit of a challenge, but nothing way over the top. Again, you want to learn something that motivates you to want to learn some more things. You don't want to start with something that's super crazy, not be able to play it right away, and just get frustrated and like toss everything out. You want to give yourself a fighting chance to learn. Now, the cool thing is once you start learning songs and you start to kind of see patterns and you start to build up muscle memory, you'll also inevitably learn like bar chords, and you'll learn chords on different strings, and then you'll learn chords that are bar chords like this, say an F minor, but it's up here. So now you've taken one chord shape and you've made a different chord. In fact, you've made several different chords. You can play just about every chord in a bar chord shape. Now, it's not going to sound the same if you play a G chord like this versus like this. There's little tiny differences, but you can still play the chords like that. And that'll open up more possibilities because you can start to learn scales too at the same time. Maybe you'll learn the major scale first, and then you'll learn like a pentatonic scale, which is just 5 notes. And you can play any pentatonic shape over a minor bar chord on that E string or on any string. You'll also come to understand that, okay, if I learn a major scale, it's just a pattern. So a G major like that, I can play anywhere else. It won't be a G major, but it'll be a major scale of whatever the root note is. An A major, if I just take G, G sharp, A, I can learn A major just by playing that same pattern. But I can also step it up to another set of strings. And then all of a sudden you have almost the entire fretboard's worth this way of playable notes in a scale that you can recognize, and you understand the pattern. And now you can play like riffs and runs over an A major chord. And all you did was play one pattern kind of repeating over itself. But then at the same time, you also understood that those notes go with an A major chord. So if you have a G major chord that you need to play over, then you have those notes available too. And then you start to recognize more patterns, and you're like, wait a minute, what happens if I do this? I don't know if you've seen one of these before, but I can just place this right here. Now it's like a bar chord shape, but my hand is freed up. You can start to understand more patterns the more you play. And I think that is one of the coolest things about this instrument, is you can start from having no understanding of the instrument whatsoever, and you can pick it up and learn a couple of songs and kind of fumble through the chords, and then next thing you know, you're actually playing music. It's so cool to kind of develop these skills. I'm getting very excited, I apologize. Actually, no, I don't. Guitar is awesome. If you've never played guitar before and you're watching this video and you're like, man, that seems kind of fun, do yourself a favor, do what you need to do to get your hands on a guitar, legally of course. Just learn some songs. Learning guitar is such a fun journey, and I hope that me getting excited about it over this video kind of motivates you to want to do the same thing. But I've been playing for about 20 years now, and I am still learning stuff. As of recently, I've decided to really take this journey serious. It's never too late to start. Thank you for watching this video. I hope this motivated you to take that step and begin your musical journey. Now, I know this video is probably not the most educational, but I started this channel a while back with the intention of learning things and showcasing them on the internet, and that would kind of help me learn them better, and that would maybe help some other people learn them. I took a little bit of a hiatus, and I am coming back to learn more and to share more. And if that's something you're interested in following along with, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching.